So I will give you 3 points how you can trace your ego. First point is whenever your thought process, your emotional process, your behavioral process, whatever, whenever your actions, your emotions make you feel small and shrink, this is ego influencing you and keeping you in his grip. This is number 1. Number 2, when you open your wings and you shine, there, the moment to trace is the quality of the light. Check the temperature of this light. There you need already a lot of capacity to discern, and you need to cultivate the connection with your heart center. So, in any case scenario, whatever path of life you walk, the center of the heart is essential for the awakening. Whether you take the path of meditation or whether you take the path of the lover, so-called. From my perspective, these don't exist. This division as such doesn't really exist. Meditation and love, awareness and love, they don't exist. They all unite, and they all unite in the center of the heart. So for me, I would say this is nonsense to divide these two things. It's like to divide day and night. It's like not even to divide day and night. It's like you divide sunset and sunrise. This is a better comparison because sunset and sunrise is the twilight area which is similar in the color. So how can you divide meditation and love? Second point of reference to trace your ego. Attention. Living life, choosing to live life in the center of your heart does not belong to any religion, to any special tradition or meditation practice. You simply live your life from the center of the heart. Just because Zen tradition doesn't specially mention the heart, it doesn't mean that heart is not involved into a Zen tradition. In fact, the amount of involvement of the heart center in Zen tradition is spectacular. It is as much as in Tantra tradition, if not more. Because in Tantra tradition they use a lot of other centers, while in Zen it is a pure heart. The Enzo circle, do you really believe that you can paint a perfect, well, let's say so-called perfect Enzo circle, perfect in the sense of its imperfection of being fully in the moment, present with the brush stroke and creating the shape that reflects what? It reflects the center of the heart, because the heart is the center of emptiness, of full presence and awareness. You cannot divide love and awareness. This is one of these calamities of this world, I would say. People dividing things that should not be divided. One should not divide sunrise and sunset. One should not divide the sky and the air of the sky. One should not divide the bird and its wing. So, don't divide. The second point, again I'm coming back, of reference about the ego, is to check with the discernment, with the centeredness in the heart. When you fully shine, what is the temperature of your light? When ego is very much involved into your shining, you will see that the light becomes sharp. It's almost like the light is not soft anymore. It becomes like a little like ice. So you will feel the cold. It seems like there is, and that's where a lot of discernment is needed. Because it seems like there is a lot of light shining. However, if you feel the temperature is cold or freezing cold, it means that a lot of ego is involved. And that's a parasitic ego that is more difficult to deal with. Because let's say the ego, it has also, let's say, levels of polishing. So when you deal with unworthiness, is a very unpolished ego. It's very easy to understand. It's easy to work with because it's very rough. When you already open and you shine and then comes this ego, it becomes already very much polished. So you have to have the discernment, check the temperature of the light. So practically how you're going to do that, so when you want to check it for yourself, you check it by tuning into your own light and observing your behavior with other people. When you shine your light towards other people, in terms when you help to them, when you talk to them, you observe yourself, how you put yourself, and the temperature of your light towards other people. And you observe every time, are you talking out of your dignity or are you talking out of your arrogance? It is subtle. So first you observe the temperature of the light you share, the temperature of your words, the temperature of your attitude. It is a subtle game, it is a subtle play. So the willingness to be there for the other, and at the same time the willingness to be there first of all for yourself. It can be absolutely identical. So that's why I say check the temperature. If it is out of coldness and sharpness, or if it is out of warmth, because you can make the same movement out of coldness and sharpness, with coldness and sharpness, or you can make the same move with warmth. You can withdraw into your space to take care of yourself with warmth, because you know that you need to restore your energy so that you can serve better to the world. So you restore yourself, you withdraw, you take care of yourself, not because you're selfish, but because you take care of yourself. This blame of being selfish is very destructive, that most of you have to deal with, that every time there comes this blame, if you want to take care of yourself, just to be with yourself, just saying yes to yourself, you immediately hear this parasite gets activated immediately that tells you, or you are selfish, or you are lazy, or you are selfish is a big one. Being selfish is a big one. And the truth is, you check the temperature. When you do it with warmth, because you need to restore your well so that others can drink from it later, you do it out of warmth, not out of coldness. And if you notice that you do it with sharpness and cold, you observe it and you stay with it. So it's important not to go into self-judgment, because it becomes like a dog that is biting its own tail. You want to get rid of the ego. First of all, wanting to get rid of the ego is not going to help to get rid of the ego, because it fortifies the ego by you willing to push it away. The very energy of willing to push it away, to fight against it, makes it bigger. Like in this old movie, The Fifth Element, when they shoot into this big fireball that is coming towards the earth, the fireball becomes bigger. So it is the same with the ego. The more you want to get rid of it, the bigger it becomes. It feeds on your desire to get rid of it. You observe it with neutrality. You observe it from the center, from the diamond inside the lotus of your heart. So you observe the ego out of that space. You don't fight with your ego. I was mentioning before the dignity and being arrogant and the fine line between the two. When you notice yourself being arrogant, you trace the arrogancy back. Because arrogancy comes sprouts out of the feeling unworthy. It's like a bubble to cover the emptiness. So in that case, go back to the original. You can write it down. that I can offer also a guided process to trace back the arrogancy. Not now, but I will. Can be very useful to trace back the arrogancy into the original wound, to heal it with the light of compassion. The original wound where you have decided that you need to puff up this bubble of arrogancy. And dignity is dignity. Dignity is the holistic, healthy you, being yourself, living your essence. In fact, when you have your original face, that original face is emerging out of the broken scales of fake personalities or egos. The third way to track your ego, it is to check every time how you relate to those that are smaller than you, the ones that are weaker, all kind of animals, cats, dogs, plants, those who are helpless, children and old people. If you come across, of course, you don't need to search for them, but when you come across, trace how you are affected by their presence and how do you relate to them. You may project a lot of things on them, and many times you can observe your ego in a more easy way when you relate to animals. For example, you have around 6 cats now in your garden and 5 belong to your neighbor, and you can observe how you relate with all these cats, how you project your dislikes on some of these cats, how you project your judgment on some of these cats, how at the same time you want to feed them or support them. So these small things are also practices for you to get better and better in observing, discerning, and remembering to live from the heart. Simple acts of kindness. It is the antidote. Little simple acts of kindness is an antidote for the ego. In whatever way the ego takes a grab on you. Feasible, without coming out of your center. You don't need to remove your last shirt or to take the last plate of soup and give it away to somebody in need in order to practice simple acts of kindness. Simple act of kindness is, for example, to put an extra cushion for the cat of a neighbor because you know they like to sleep under your porch as well, and they will be happy to have a comfortable place to sleep instead of sharing all the time only one bed. Simple act of kindness is, for example, to water the plants. When you water the plants, you look at the quality of the action with how you do this, how you water the plant. Do you water the plant because you're obliged to water the plant? And you think, oh, fuck these plants, I have to do this tired work, I'm not done for this, I need to count stars in the sky, whatever. Or you do it with heart, you do it with your heart, you water the plants because you want them to grow, you want the plants to be happy. And this you can also spread on relating with old people when they need. Of course, especially if they're your relatives, then it's more challenging. So this is a constant practice of living simple acts of kindness when you remember to take care of yourself, to take care of that your own well is full. Remember about the virus that tells you that you are selfish if you do that and not to believe this virus. And at the same time, you share the water of your well also in little things with others when you can. Children, old people, flowers, plants, animals. Maybe there is a dog that you particularly don't like. This is a good point to observe, and so on. So these were the 3 points how you trace your ego. So there is no need to be afraid to make your ego bigger by allowing yourself to fully shine your light. Remember, this is one of the ego trips, not to allow you to live your essence and to live the shining heart and beauty that you are in your full dignity. This fear is a trick of your ego, and you have the tools and the keys to trace your ego once you are shining. Rather, take care of eliminating all the grips and restrictions that ego holds on you that prevent you from fully shining your light. I will highlight this again. You can never make your ego stronger by shining fully the light of your heart. You are making it stronger by believing that you cannot shine this light.